What's up, guys? Coming to you live from home. Obviously, we're all still in lockdown. We're all still forced to be training at home for the most part. And the other day when I was training, I was doing some neck work, and I routinely do some neck work. I do neck work, fairly often. Um, but realized like what I was doing, you don't need any equipment for. So this is stuff that everybody can do at home, pretty much, and it's something that could be very beneficial for a lot of people because the neck is an area of common injury, common tension. People just hold a lot of tension and chronically get pain in their neck. And we can combat that if we begin to train the neck properly. Properly being the key word there. So we all see now, it's running rampant in society, that forward head posture. People's heads, they call it text neck or whatever, from being down on the phones all the time or typing on the computer. That head is slowly starting to kind of lean forward on the body, and people's necks are starting to kind of, wreak havoc on them. Starting to commonly hurt. Just chronic pain and tightness. So to break this down to better understand how we do this properly, we have to understand the proper movements of the neck, or basically all the movements of the neck. So to understand all the movements of the neck, we have flexion. Flexion of the neck is when the chin is coming down towards the chest. And then extension is the opposite, when the chin is heading up towards the ceiling, you're looking up. So we have flexion and extension, all right? We also have lateral flexion, which is when basically the ear is coming down to the shoulder, and that goes both sides. And then we have cervical rotation, which is the turning of the neck. And then lastly, and the forgotten two, and the ones that we most want to be concerned with, is protraction and retraction. So protraction is when that head is getting pushed forward, and retraction is when that head is getting pushed back, like you're giving yourself a double chin. So I see a lot of people, they think, texting, my head's always down, it's kind of like in this flexed position. So they think to just do tons of extension work. So they'll get like a neck harness, like those bands that go around your head with the chain hanging from it, and you put some weight on there, and you basically just extend your head up, and they thinking that that's fixing the issue, but it's not. It's actually probably contributing in most cases to the problem, not directly, but just making the pain and tension you have worse. Because when we're in that forward head posture, our head always wants to be on an even keel, wants to be level, wants to be able to see in front of us and see the horizon. So when that head starts to drip forward, it's because of that forward head posture, that text neck. It's our cervical extensors, the extensors in the back of our neck, that's going to pick that head up so we can still see in front of us. But you can see in this position, my neck is still forward. Even though I'm looking up and I can see everything, my neck is still in that forward leaning position. And those extensors, those high up extensors, are just cranking and working overtime to try and keep my head level so I can see in front of me. So just doing a ton of extension work is not going to fix your neck problems. If anything, it's going to help you carry more tension in your neck and contribute to the issue, because those extensors are already working overtime. What we want to be concerned with is that forward head posture that's basically over protraction. So we need to be able to retract that neck. Now, in also saying that, nothing works in isolation for the most part. So most people, if they have that text neck, if they have that forward head posture, more than likely that upper back and that thoracic spine is also going to be very kyphotic and starting to kind of round over. So we have to clean up the upper back with good thoracic extension. So if I have this, if you can see this, I'm not sure how the lighting is in here. I'm in my living room. If my upper back is rounded and then that neck is starting to protrude forward and I have that forward head posture, if I clean that upper back up and I get good extension in my upper back, then I can start to clean up that neck and get that neck back into proper retraction. So with a properly extended upper back and a properly retracted neck, then I'm starting to build good posture, or what's seen as good posture, and starting to clean some of that stuff up. And when that head can sit nice and level on a nice, properly curved spine, then a lot of that chronic tension and pain is going to start to dissipate over time. So let's take a look at this. So what we can do to clear some of this stuff up. So thoracic extension, all we're going to really use here is a foam roller, but you don't necessarily need a foam roller. So we can just stick this guy right on the middle of that upper back, basically right below the scaps and the shoulder blades there. And we can start to open that up and just get into that extended position and just kind of hang out and take some nice deep breaths here. You can work that all the way up through the upper back there, making sure that I'm not cranking my neck back in order to get back there, or I'm not hyperextending my lower back. It's not a ton of movement, guys. So don't overforce it. We're just looking for a little bit of opening. Probably crack your back a little bit here and there. Feels good. So we open that guy up. Another good one is if you can find yourself a wall. Let me see if I can set the camera up here to where you can see this. If you get on a wall here, and I'm just on my knees, I'll put my hands up against the wall, and I'm just gonna shoot my butt back so I can drop my head in between my arms and just push into that wall, and pushing my chest towards the floor while pushing my hands into the wall and just getting that good extension through my upper back. You can do reps here, you can do holds, just making sure those arms stay straight and active, pushing through the wall. So those two right there will give you good thoracic extension. Now, once we've opened up that upper back, now we need to address that neck. So we can start to do same sort of thing. Get on that foam roller, and we can use this guy for some soft tissue work. Set this back up. So what we're gonna do though is we're actually gonna lay on this long ways. So it's laying down my spine, and I'm gonna position myself so that the ridge end of this foam roller gets right on those cervical extensors up in that upper neck. And here I can just nod my head back and forth. Turn my head to the side a little bit, and I can get really good soft tissue work up on that high neck where those extensors are. And you'll find this will feel pretty good. And if you chronically got headaches or anything like that, just doing some nice soft work here can actually help you out a lot. So we're just cranking this out, getting some good soft tissue. We're just spend about 30 to 60 seconds on this, depending how tight you are. So you hit some soft tissue on that. And you can also hit some soft tissue on the sternocleidomastoid muscle, which runs from right under your ear, from behind your ear, all the way down to your sternum, thus the name, sternoclavicular. So it's that big, thick neck muscle, that neck muscle that everybody sees. Just get some good soft tissue work on each one of those two, both sides. Just use 2 fingers, getting in on there, opening those guys up, seeing where it feels tight. And then once you do the soft tissue work, we're actually gonna stay right on our foam roller. And we're gonna lay in that position still long ways. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna scoot up a little bit so our head hangs off the end of it. So now we have to support the weight of our own head. So we need to work, so we need to be able to work that retraction of the neck. So like I said before, when we're that forward head posture, those extensors are already working and we're protracted. So we need to work the retraction muscles to pull that head back into position. And believe it or not, it's actually the high neck flexors that do that. So even though we're constantly protracted and flexed all the time, those are the muscles that we actually need to start to strengthen because they're constantly weak from being short. So it's working that position, getting in proper position, and then working those high flexor muscles so we can work that retraction in the neck. All right, and that's what we're gonna do here. So we got 2 exercises. First one I'll show you right here on the foam roller. We're gonna let that head hang off, and we don't want to protract and shoot that chin up towards the ceiling because that's where we're running into trouble. So we want to just pull that chin back, keep it nice and tucked, close the distance between the chin and the chest, and and you can just start here with a hold, and just hold this position. Make sure you breathe in, don't clench your teeth or your jaw, and just hold this and try to hold this for 20 to 30 seconds. And you'll find that this shit is weak and it's gonna burn, man. You're gonna feel this. So you start with just holds. Once holds are comfortable, you can start to do actual reps. And reps, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna slowly let that head come back into extension. And then we're gonna close the gap off. So keeping that double chin position. We don't wanna gouge and protract. So we're keeping that chin tight, centered. Come back. And then bring it in nice and tight. And you can do reps here. And you're gonna feel that big time as well. And then once we hit that, you can start to incorporate cervical rotation where we keep the chin tight, look to the right, bring it back to center. And you can do this for repetitions. Do 10 reps to the right, and then 10 reps to the left. And I'm telling you guys, just from demonstrating this right now, and I train my neck pretty often, my shit's on fire, all right? So you can start to set that stuff up. And all this stuff too, once you start working these movements with the neck and actually taking your time, going slow, going as far as you can, you're gonna start to open up your neck as well. So you're really gonna start to build some mobility in your neck. So you can hit that circuit on the foam roller. So start with holds, then you can incorporate flexion reps, and then you can incorporate rotation reps, and then you can start to incorporate them all together and kind of string them together in a little circuit. And you're like 1 to 2 rounds total, guys, and you'll be feeling that. So especially if you've never really trained your neck before. So ease into that. Your second exercise, we're gonna come up on a wall here, and you're gonna put your back up against the wall. You're gonna have your feet out, so the further out your feet are, the harder it's gonna be. So just make sure that you're progressing this slowly. You don't want to jump full force, hardcore into training your neck if you're not used to training your neck. So have your feet, anywhere from like 6 inches up to a foot plus away from the wall. And legs are going to be straight. You get your back nice and straight. And then we're going to give ourselves that double chin position. So I'm going to set my back up. I'm going to push that chin in until the back of my head's up against the wall. So I'm in this nice retracted position. And then with that head up against the back of the head up against the wall, I'm gonna push my head into the wall and lift my body off the wall. I hope you guys can see that. So now the only thing that's touching the wall is the back of my head. But I got this nice tucked double chin position, retracted position, and I'm just applying pressure into the wall with the back of my head using those retractors and just holding this position. It's not super hard. I'm not going crazy hard. I'm going to hold this for 30 to 40 seconds. But then once you come off, you just slowly lower yourself down, come off the wall, and you'll feel like almost like someone's kind of pulling your head up. Like you should feel like almost a little bit taller. So all those things, guys, those combinations of things will start to, strengthen your neck, loosen it up, make it feel better, all these things. And then you'll start to fix that posture over time. So nobody wants to be that dude, walking around all hunched over, poor position. Just, body language is a big thing, man. So you want to be able to walk tall with that chest open, nice and proud. So give that a shot, guys. When you're done, like I said, ease into this. Start once a week. 1 round of everything, see how it feels. If it's not too bad, you could add another round next time. And then you can always just follow it up with some good, neck stretches at the end. Nice and easy, kind of pulling the head down and kind of stretching it out here. You know, obviously doing that both sides. You know, you can lay on your back and just do rotations to each side. You know, and just doing nice, slow, deliberate neck work and just movement is going to help open that stuff up and keep it nice and healthy. So just make sure that when you're doing it, though, you're not overcompensating. It's really easy. So like lateral flexion, it's very easy to raise that shoulder up. Or, you know, when you're rotating, it's really easy to, you know, if I'm rotating as far as I can, people will start to like shoot that shoulder forward to try and make up for it. So just be cognizant and conscious and make sure that these movements are 100% coming from the neck. And like at the end when you're stretching out, it should not be hard. Like 3, 4 out of 10. Like just a nice, easy stretch. Making sure you're breathing, and that stuff will start to open it up after you strengthen it. So give that a shot, guys. Hope that you understand that and all that makes sense. And have fun, because it burns.